Hey, welcome back to the wrestling show where keeping it real goes right. Welcome back to Real Take Wrestle Talk live here on YouTube. Welcome everyone to this show. We're going to be previewing SummerSlam, NXT, all that stuff. And joining me to do that is, as always, is the one, the only, Trevor, the barman, Souton.
Hello.
And also joining me, a special guest, someone who I've known for a very, very long time, who has been a fan of wrestling for much longer than I've been alive, slightly longer than I've been alive, Kevin Mejia. What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
How you doing, Omar? It's a pleasure to be here to talk about the Summerfest.
The Summerfest. Yeah.
Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven 2010. A moment in time, a moment in wrestling history.
Celebrity guest host represents.
Oh yeah, we got a celebrity guest host today. Don't botch. Don't do anything. Hold on to your horses, guys. We've got a lot to talk about today. This is off to a wonderful start, by the way, with my stuttering and everything. But it's okay. We're gonna be talking about WWE SummerSlam, previewing that major card. Also gonna be talking about NXT Takeover 36. And we're going to be talking about AEW, the first dance this week. Kevin's not going to be talking about that. He's going to be gone by then. But Trevor and I are going to be very happily talking about that. CM Punk's debut, all that kind of stuff. All that and much more coming up. Oh, it's happening. It's happening, Kevin. It's going to happen.
You mark for the dirt sheets. Go ahead.
If it wasn't for the dirt sheets, I wouldn't have this show. But we're going to be having a lot of fun, guys. In case you haven't already, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, be sure to check out our overtime show after this show has concluded. It's going to be me and Trevor hanging out for a little bit, talking about all the stuff we didn't get to this week. Real Take Overtime on patreon.com/Real Take Sports. Boys, let's get it started hot. Let's get it started in here talking about NXT TakeOver 36. NXT TakeOver 36 is going to be live this Sunday, and the card will feature some major talents. We're going to see L.A. Knight defending his $1 million title against Cameron Grimes. Also going to be seeing Raquel Gonzalez taking on Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's title. Adam Cole will be taking on Kyle O'Reilly in a 2 out of 3 falls match, which will likely be Adam Cole's swan song in NXT. Will it be his WWE swan song? We'll talk about that. Also, my boy, the greatest wrestler in the world, Walter, will be taking on Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK title in what's sure to be an amazing bout. And the main event, NXT said they're getting younger, they're getting bigger, and by getting younger, Samoa Joe is going to be wrestling for the NXT title in the main event against Karrion Kross. So a lot to talk about here, guys. Just overall thoughts on the card and the build-up to the event, and then we'll get into each match individually. But Kevin, you're the guest. We'll start with you. What do you think about this card and just the show as it's been built up?
I love NXT personally, of the 3 brands, the most. So I'm looking forward to this card. I know I get to think about Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross being on the older side. I get it, but that should be a fantastic match. Walter Dragunov, are you kidding me? I can't even. It's only Tuesday. I almost said Wednesday, and I can't wait for this. This is insane. I love Raquel Gonzalez, but I love Dakota Kai more. So I want to see how this plays out. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. Oh, I lost audio.
Oh no, we're still here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Trevor, what do you think about the way it's been built up?
Oh, it's been built up amazingly, actually. And I'll agree with Kevin. That's one thing we see eye to eye about. I love NXT. NXT is my favorite brand. I've watched NXT since it was its conception, honestly, because I don't know about you, but like I'm a big indie guy, and it gives me indie feels. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but no, it looks good. Looks like a good card. I can't wait. Like, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Dakota Kai, but Raquel Gonzalez stole my heart. She's an amazing wrestler. Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe, big man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, this is look. There's a few matches on here, or sorry, there's one match on here in particular that I could go without, and that is honestly the NXT title match. But we'll get into that because, but everything else on this card intrigues me great. I love the way they built up the story with Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. I love the LA Knight Cameron Grimes stuff with the $1 million belt. Walter, anytime he's on TV, is a win for me. But let's get into the card, guys. Let's talk about it. The first match we're going to talk about is LA Knight defending his $1 million title against Cameron Grimes with the stipulation that if Knight wins, then the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, must be LA Knight's servant for a month. So that's a bit of a stipulation there. Nice heel work by LA Knight. He's doing some of the best work of his career, I think. Trevor, what do you think? Let's start with you about this match, the way it's been built up, and who do you think wins and why?
We've talked about LA Knight. We've talked about like how both of us really enjoy LA Knight. Loved him in NXT, not NXT, Impact. I love his work. I think he's amazing. This is probably his best work of his career. I totally agree. And I can't. To me, you can't hate Cameron Grimes. Like you just can't. His character is kind of so ridiculous. You have to like him. You know what I mean? Like I love Cameron Grimes, and he reminds me of my family's from New Orleans. I've said this thousands of times. He reminds me of one of my great grandmother's neighbors. Actually, he sounds just like him.
Interesting. I was thinking he sounds a lot like Trevor Lee from TNA, but
mind your business. But yeah. So anyway, who I think wins? I think Cameron Grimes wins, only because I think they're trying to get him over, and this is a great way to get him over.
Cool. Kevin, same question to you. What do you think about the build of this match, and who do you think wins and why?
Great build. Phenomenal. The best. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, dear. Cancel.
No.
Cancel before you got started. God damn it, Kevin.
Anyway, no. Okay, so if you think that this is LA Knight's best work, you clearly haven't seen him in that commercial with Ric Flair for some kind of auto
or was it Auto Shield, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It worked out when I saw LA Knight in that. Okay, yes, please. Go ahead.
Anyway, so originally I would have had LA Knight go over again because I don't see any need to take the title off him. It heels champions. This is a heel champion company.
It is.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
they say it's a face, but heels work a lot better. But when you add the stipulation with $1 Million Man being a servant, there's no need to have $1 Million Man on there for a month. I don't see the need for it. I don't want it. So I'm gonna go get Cameron Grimes for that reason, just to not have Ted DiBiase on NXT television. If it was Raw or SmackDown, maybe I get that, but on NXT television,
if it was Raw or SmackDown, they'd have the $1 Million Man out there, IRS, just all the legends we can, nostalgia, baby, just nostalgia everywhere.
Especially if they're cutting costs and they're going younger. I mean, would I rather see LA Knight win? Of course I would, but just for those reasons, I think Cameron Grimes takes this. Plus, maybe I'd imagine this is probably an opener and gets the crowd going. Knight needs Cameron Grimes needs a win here. He hasn't won in quite a bit, so.
Yeah, sure. Cameron Grimes has not been winning as of late. I'm gonna go in the same direction as you guys. Cameron Grimes has to win this. This has been built up for him. It's a very obvious kind of like storyline point for this to be the stipulation. LA Knight can be like, yeah, I'm gonna win, and then the $1 Million Man's gonna be my servant. That's not gonna happen. Cameron Grimes has to get this win, because if he doesn't, then Cameron Grimes, honestly, at this point, just looks like a fool, an idiot at this point, and a loser. And that's the whole point of this, is to make him look like someone who is at least somewhat of a threat. But I say Cameron Grimes is going to win. I love the work he's been doing too. I thought the stuff where he's at the auction and he's and then the $1 Million Man keeps outbidding him was great. I thought those are some great segments. I think he's very charismatic. The $1 Million belt will be good for him. And although I will say one thing though, I wish that they had dragged this out a little longer because I feel
agree.
like it's been rushed. Yeah. It's been rushed. Totally. Like. LA Knight was someone, if you're going to put the $1 Million belt on him, do that for a few more months. Oh, yeah. I feel like it was kind of rushed for he's had it for maybe 2-3 months right now. And he hasn't really, I feel like there's more to that they could have explored. Regardless, that's the direction they're going in. But if you're going to put the title on line in this, then I think Grimes has to win at this point. Because otherwise, again, he's just going to look like a loser. And then he's not going to get over. But yeah, so I'm glad to see we're all in agreement there. Let's move on to the next match. Raquel Gonzalez. Rumors about her potentially moving up to the main roster have been swirling. She's the NXT Women's Champion right now. She will be defending against her former friend turned bitter enemy, Dakota Kai, in what I think is going to be a match that could steal the show. But Kevin, let's start with you. What do you think about the build of this match? Who do you think wins and why?
All right. I don't want to go the entire show picking heels. Omar can tell you that I love heels. I'm rooting for heels. But
I'm a big heel fan, too. I am.
I love heels. It's an amazing
My
TV
favorite
show.
is actually tweeners, though. I love tweeners.
But Dakota Kai, because, all right, the build. I know it looks like maybe it's only been a build of 2-3 weeks, but no, it's a couple of years at this point. Long storyline. Dakota Kai kind of brings in Raquel Gonzalez, and then Raquel leapfrogs her to become NXT Women's Champion. Jealousy, former best friends. It's classic storytelling. But then Raquel Gonzalez is much, much bigger. So how in the hell is Dakota Kai going to win this? I still think she will. Chicona bomb, boom, 1, 2, some kind of. I expect outside interference. I'm sure Dakota Kai's got someone, along to help her out, because I don't think Dakota Kai beating Raquel Gonzalez straight up one-on-one, no interference, makes any kind of sense because of Raquel's size. But I do see Dakota Kai winning this and new NXT Women's Champion Dakota Kai.
Yeah, Freudian slip right there. Cool. Trevor, What about you? What do you think about this match?
I absolutely love Kevin because he's thinking the same. He says the same thing I'm thinking. I honestly believe that this match was built up for months, years. Like you said, Raquel Gonzalez comes in, she outshines Dakota Kai. She does all these things that Dakota Kai couldn't do. Dakota Kai have a match against Io Shirai, lost. Raquel Gonzalez has a great match with Io Shirai and beats her clean. It's one of those things where you're like, yeah, this has been built. If you pay attention, it's been built up for a long time. But honestly, again, I have to agree with Kevin. I think it will be. Especially if Raquel Gonzalez is going to the main roster, Dakota Kai. Now, maybe this isn't her. Maybe this might not be the match where she goes to the main roster, but she might have a few more matches after that. But I don't really see anyone else being her competition. So yeah, I'll agree with Kevin. She loses this match. Dakota Kai wins. She goes to the main roster after this.
Interesting. I gotta say, boys, this has been one of my favorite things on NXT. Outside of I love the Cameron Grimes $1 Million Man stuff, but the way the long term there's a very little long term storytelling in WWE that's left. All right, unless you want to count the Miz and Damian Priest and that feud that's been going on for 8 months that no one likes. But this has been like the seeds were planted very early on. I love the way it's been done, and I think that there's a real reason that Dakota Kai could actually win this and win it clean. Because here's the thing. I'm making this case not out of, I think this is going to happen. I think this is a logical way to make it happen. They've built up Raquel Gonzalez as a monster, as an absolute monster, run through the entire NXT women's division. She is dominant, unbeatable. And this is the perfect David versus Goliath moment. Will there be maybe a little bit of a distraction? Maybe, yeah, but But I think Dakota Kai is the woman to do this job and finally defeat the big monster in the NXT women's division that is Raquel Gonzalez. I think the storyline fits it. I think the talent is there. I think the ability to make it look like a real threat to her, make it look like a legitimate win is there. It checks all the right boxes for me. Also, these are two of the best performers in NXT, bar none. So for me, I think I think this is going to be match of the night. This is going to be a match. Watch out, people. That's going to steal the show because you got a bunch of big matches out here. You got Walter in action. You got the Cross Joe match. It's been a little overshadowed, I feel, but these two are going to go out there. They know each other very well. I think they're going to go out there and have a great match with each other, but I'm picking Dakota Kai in the end. Cool. Let's move on and talk about the 2 out of 3 falls match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, another pair of former best friends turned bitter rivals. This rivalry has taken us through NXT Great American Bash. It's taken us through many matches before that. This is the culmination of the feud right here. It ends there. We saw Kyle O'Reilly. He picked the first stipulation, which was a singles match. Then we saw Adam Cole get to pick the second one in the street fight. And of course, GM William Regal came out to announce that the third match, if necessary, will be a steel cage match. So best 2 out of 3 falls. We already know the format of these. Like usually, it's gonna be like one person gets one match, person gets the second match. They promised a steel cage. There's gonna be a steel cage. We're likely gonna get 3 falls. But Trevor, what do you think about this match? The feud in general, how it's been built up, and who do you think is going to be victorious, and why is it Kyle O'Reilly?
So we're on the same page. We were talking last week about some of the best rivalries in wrestling, and you mentioned, and I agreed, Ciampa and Gargano, and that's probably one of the best feuds in WWE, right? Especially right now, anyway. But this one is close. It's such a good feud. Such a good feud. At first, I thought it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary because you had no reason to really break up that group unless you were trying to, unless you knew Adam Cole's contract was up, and they probably did. It was coming up soon, and then they also cut a bunch of people. But this one is going to be good. I love Kyle O'Reilly. I love how they've let him shine against Finn Balor. Those matches were classic, by the way. And even the first Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole match was very classic. But I think, like you said, Adam Cole wins this because you're trying to push Adam Cole. Not Adam Cole. I'm sorry. You're trying to push Kyle O'Reilly. You're trying to make him a bigger star than what he is. You're trying to give him a big push and put him over with the fans, even though he's already over with the fans. But I honestly think Kyle O'Reilly wins this one.
Cool. Kevin, what about you?
I miss you. Come back. No. All right. Let's take the thing about Adam Cole's contract, all that stuff out the window. Let's just talk wrestling logic. Okay.
Right.
1, 2 out of 3 falls matches and steel cage matches are usually for the good guy to go over, the face to go over.
Right.
So Kyle O'Reilly is your winner there. Kyle O'Reilly, phenomenal talent. Character, maybe a little bland right now. UE stuff was great. This cool Kyle O'Reilly guy he's playing.
I'll have you know, air guitar Kyle O'Reilly is the most charismatic thing to ever come out of NXT.
Absolutely.
And this is why we're not friends, Omar.
No, I gotta agree with Omar. Yeah,
it is charismatic. I mean, unfortunately, it's unfortunately one of the most charismatic things.
It was Bobby Fish's entire gimmick. Like he didn't do anything else other than that.
Nope.
But
so Kyle O'Reilly lost to Finn Balor twice?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
He lost to Karrion Kross, and even his win against Adam Cole, baby. wasn't that like the unsanctioned match where like they both went to the hospital? So even that win is kind of
tainted.
Tainted. He needs a solid win against a former champion if he's going to stay in the upper echelon of NXT. Because I can't see him beating Karrion Kross or Samoa Joe as of now. But if he beats Adam Cole, then it elevates him in my eyes and the eyes of the fans. So he needs this in the worst way. Adam Cole, even if he stays in NXT, he could take an L here. It's not going to hurt him at all. A little bit of boom.
Yeah, I mean,
Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, I agree. So for me, it's very simple. Like I agree with you. You take the whole contract situation even out of the realm of this match, and you're left with the reality of they have a steel cage match. They have a 2 out of 3 falls match. This is the end of the feud, the end of the line. Almost never have they done it where the heel goes over, except when they did it in 2001 with Triple H and Stone Cold, when Triple H won that 2 out of 3 falls match. So okay,
but Triple H needed that. He needed that win there over Stone Cold as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But that was a special case. I was just thinking out loud, and that came to my mind.
Yeah, you're right.
Totally fucked up my whole point. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna keep rolling with it. Kyle O'Reilly's gonna win this match, guys, and this is the only way you have to do it. You have to do it because you're right, Kevin and Trevor. You hinted at this as well. For months, Kyle O'Reilly has been in this weird tier of he's not like the top, like the upper echelon of NXT. He's like one of the best performers. He has great matches. People want to like him, but like, is he like up there with Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, Samoa, like, those guys? Not really, if we're being honest. But we want to like him. He's got the ability. It's just about making his character, making his story arc get to that point, right? So the best way to do that, or a way to help do that more, is by getting this win clean as a whistle over Adam Cole. And yeah, and like there's multiple ways you could do it. I think there's going to be probably some shenanigans on Cole's part, obviously, but you have to have O'Reilly win clean, especially if Adam Cole is going to leave. If Adam Cole is going to leave, even if he's going to go to the main roster, we don't know what his contract situation is officially, but even if he goes just to the main roster, he's going to be out of the realm of NXT. So, but Kyle O'Reilly's going to be left behind, and he's the guy who people were for a long time saying, oh, maybe he's going to be the one to eventually beat Karrion Kross. We'll have to see if that's the case, because we got Samoa Joey in the main event there. But I think that this is the first step you do to making him a legitimate badass, a legitimate main eventer in NXT. You have to have this. He has to have this win, and he has to look strong, because if he doesn't, then he's just going to be another like top level like NXT guy who can work, but who people don't legitimately believe can be the guy. So it's the only logical choice is Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah. Anything else on this match, guys?
Nope.
All right, cool. Let's move on then and talk about a great match that's going to happen that I'm excited. This is my main event. Which is Walter.
Such a fucking fanboy.
I love Walter. I'm proud of it, man. But Walter will be defending his NXT UK Championship, the most prestigious title in WWE. Say what you want. It is the most prestigious title, people in the chat. But it is the most prestigious title to me in WWE because of the man who is holding it, Walter. He's been champion for over 500 days. He is a monster. He is insane. He is brutal. And he will be taking on someone who I think is the perfect foil for him in Ilya Dragunov. It is going to be one hell of a match. There's a potential chance that Pete Dunne could get added. We don't know that for sure, but there's elements of that are being rumored and philosophized by many people. As of right now, it's just Walter and Dragunov. But Kevin, I'm going to go with you on this. I know you love Walter too.
I do.
What do you think about this match, the matchup between these two especially? What can we expect from this match?
Physicality, hard-hitting, just, my God, I can't even wait for this. This is insane. Walter is phenomenal. but Dragunov's got this all day because it's we're close to 850 now in terms of days, 850 days for Walter. That's fantastic, but we need a new NXT UK champion. Dragunov is the man to do it, even though he's Russian. Whatever. The UK.
Whatever.
We just lost all of our Russian viewers.
No, but it's not UK. It's not UK, but he's definitely the man to do it. This is good. I can't even gather the words for this match because I'm just looking forward to it so much. The first one was phenomenal. I expect big things out of this one because it's on main NXT television. They're gonna go big. It's gonna be just a 10 stars out of 5, if you will. Sorry, Meltzer.
Oh yeah, well no. If this
Tokyo
wasn't a Tokyo Dome, I promise you 8 stars guaranteed.
Guaranteed in stock. I mean, I hope so, and I hope it lives up to the hype because in my mind it's already, oh my gosh, but it'll be good.
So you're picking Dragunov in taking Walter's title. You got
Dragunov. I do because, did Walter go, almost a whole year without defending it because of COVID? So whatever, fine. It's time for a title change here. I think 850 or it's not 850 or whatever. It's 800 and something. It's plenty
800,
good.
864 days.
Oh, okay. There you go. Even more than I thought. So, I mean, that's cemented a legacy right there. This is a perfect time for a change.
Well, that's wrong. Trevor, what do you think, buddy?
So, I love Walter. I do like Walter. Probably not as much as you two, but I love Walter. But Dragunov, I love Dragunov. I actually think it's an amazing wrestler. I think both are very hard hitting. Both practice that strong style to a T. It is not so much strong style because it's not New Japan, it's UK. But they're very stiff. Both of them are throwing very stiff shots. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be painful to watch. But I got Dragunov winning.
Yeah, can I just add that I don't think this would be on TakeOver if it wasn't a title change coming up here. Like this would just be on NXT UK television.
Well, I mean, Ciampa and Walter were on TakeOver, and Ciampa lost that.
No, I get that too. That was a good match, but more people were going to watch NXT TakeOver than NXT UK. Well, I barely watch NXT UK.
True.
So if you want the viewers, you pop the crowd with a title change here. Get a member to watch NXT UK Thursdays at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Sir, sir, everything that came out of your mouth was complete bullshit. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul for doubting the strength of Walter, doubting the ability of Walter to carry an entire brand on his back. Walter is NXT UK. There is no NXT UK without Walter. How dare you sully the good name of the greatest champion in WWE. Yes, Roman Reigns. Yes, Bobby Lashley. Yes, to everyone. Walter is the guy. He's the only one who does it for me. He's the only one who looks like a legitimate like threat. I mean, Roman Reigns, yeah, he's gotten better, but Walter to me is like the guy. Like this guy is money. You don't take the belt off of him now. I think I understand the desire for Dragunov to be the guy. I think Dragunov could end up being the guy to take it off of him, but I think you wait for another match. You kind of wear this out a little more. I'll get to 1,000 days of Walter being champion. Let him keep building up this streak, this title reign, this legendary title reign that we have not seen the likes of in decades. I want to see Walter be like, I want to see him say, like, I'm going to be NXT UK champion for life. And then maybe put him in the corner and put Dragunov in the corner and have Dragunov beat him. Because I think Dragunov is a great guy. I think he's great. I love his look. I love the way he wrestles. Very similar to the strong style of Walter. The contacts also, boom, scary as shit. But I don't think you do it with Walter now. I think this is a good showcase match. If you're going to have this on TakeOver, I think they're doing it to showcase both of these talents so that the next time they do this match, everyone tunes in, and this match is also a draw. I think that's the way you go. I'm probably in the minority in some thinking here. I'm going with Walter. You never end this title reign. He's going to be 80 years old on his deathbed or whatever. My man's still going to be carrying around that NXT UK strap, if I have anything to say about it. Walter, you know how to fix all of WWE's problems, Trevor and Kevin? Needs more Walter. Just put Walter on everything. You will be fine. Anyway.
Maybe travels to America.
Yeah. hey, he's gonna be forced to for this one. We'll get him to. We'll get him to. Hey, money talks, brother. Let's go to the main event now, guys. Karrion Kross, the NXT UK champ. Or sorry, no. The NXT champion.
What are you doing, sir?
I don't know what's going on today. Maybe not enough people are liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell so you get notified whenever new video is released.
What you doing there?
Yeah, there we go. Just throwing it in there. But the NXT title will be on the line. This has been a feud, few weeks in the build. Samoa Joe returned as Mr. Regal's enforcer, and then he was provoked by Karrion Kross, the NXT champion, and which has caused these two to be on a collision course for the NXT title. And there's a lot of people who are saying we could see a title change with Karrion Kross doing whatever the hell he's doing up there with Jeff Hardy on Raw. God help us all. Well, and a lot of people are saying this could be his swan song in NXT, and he could be moving up to the main roster. We'll see about that. But what do you guys think about this match? Joe versus Kross for the title. Trevor, let's start with you.
Don't get me wrong. I like Joe. I do. I'm actually, Karrion Kross is growing on me. I like him too. I like his work. But I don't know. I feel like this feud is unnecessary, kind of, sort of. It's interesting, definitely, but I feel like it's unnecessary. Karrion Kross has been a force to be reckoned with since he's been in NXT. I mean, hell, like his first title shot ever, he won off of Keith Lee, which we've talked about many, many times before, and I didn't fucking agree with it. But, I mean, it is what it is, and I do appreciate the work ethic of the man, and I think he's a good worker. I don't really know which way to go in this because, I feel like if you put Joe in the match, there is going to be a title change. But I also don't know with the whole, we want to go younger. I mean, yeah, Karrion Kross is older too, but Joe is older than him. So,
yeah.
It's one of those things. I don't, you know what? I'm going to go with Joe. I'm just going to go with Joe.
Okay. Kevin, what about you, man?
All right, Karrion Kross has main roster written all over him since day one.
Main roster jobber written all over him.
Right? No, he's a great jobber. That's what you.
No. I 100% disagree. This got.
Vince McMahon 100% disagrees with you, my friend.
No, he disagrees with me now because he came up through NXT. But if he would have signed him to the main roster initially, he could be an IC champ by now. Because that's how I like to see my people go IC champ, then world champ. I hate when someone goes right for the world championship. But that's
we'll talk about someone who went right for the world championship, man. Unhindered gender, but continue.
Oh my god. But Joe, does he need this? No. 3-time NXT champion, but I think Joe is business, and Joe will put over somebody younger, maybe like Kyle O'Reilly in a few months. So I think it's better that they put the title on Joe now, let Karrion go up to the main roster, fight Jeff Hardy a million times, rematch after rematch on Raw, and have Joe hold it for a few months, put over someone these young guys are talking about, and then Joe could just, I don't know, but I don't think Joe needs to be NXT champion very long.
Yeah. For me, Joe is going to be a transitional champion. I think because Karrion Kross, they've already made the whole thing like he's going up to the main roster. Like that's kind of already set in stone. It's just a matter of when they want to pull the trigger of him being exclusive to the main roster. So for me, it's one of those things where I just think Samoa Joe is going to come in there. He's going to win, and then he's going to have a very short reign. Like they could realistically do a very similar thing they did with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. You remember where Balor kind of lost it out of nowhere? Like I'm not saying do it at a house show or anything like that, but like you know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be one of those things where you didn't see it coming, but it happened. I see him as a transitional champion because he's someone who can definitely beat Karrion Kross and legitimately beat Karrion Kross, in the eyes of the fans in the storyline. But he's also someone who is vulnerable, who I think doesn't, like you said, doesn't need to be champion for that long. So the only question that remains for I think all of us is who is that guy? Is it Kyle O'Reilly? Is it someone else on the NXT roster? Is it someone who might come down from the main roster potentially? Because we've seen a few guys do that. In like Finn Balor is like the biggest name that's come down and had way more success on the NXT roster than he has on the main roster. So there's a lot of guys who might fit that mold or that mold rather. So I agree with you guys. I think it's gonna be Samoa Joe. He has because Karrion is done. He's done with NXT. There's nothing else for him to do, really.
Yeah. I just said something about how I hate how someone goes right for the world title as opposed to go into a secondary title. And I was going through the roster in my head, and I keep seeing your pictures, your graphics float over. L.A. Knight, NXT champion, after he loses the $1 million. Because there's no reason for him to be North American champion when there's not really anybody. There's no solid North American champion contenders. No. Swerve is great, but there's no one there's no one really going. Kushida, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Roderick Strong, already been North American champ. He's definitely not heavyweight champion material, at least not in his current act. So Joe versus LA Knight sounds good to me, actually. Now that I think about it,
that does sound like a good one. You could also put. I wouldn't, but you could also put Kyle O'Reilly in that North American Championship role. Yeah,
that's fine. Because to build him up even more to get him to that world title level. Yeah.
Because Swerve Scott isn't bad. I actually like Swerve Scott. I've watched him since the Indies, but him as the North American Championship makes sense because he doesn't have World Championship credibility out yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
But putting him against Kyle O'Reilly would be a tremendous match. I think.
Oh, I think we're overlooking someone too. We're overlooking Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Oh my God, the Mr. NXT Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. Oh my. It just occurred to me because his face wasn't on those graphics. You forget about him, but yeah.
Well, yeah, he will because he's not on the card.
Right. So you forget, but here he is. He could easily be NXT champion again, or Ciampa.
Ciampa, yeah. But Ciampa's doing a tag team thing right now, right?
Someone told me that Tommaso Ciampa looks like a 3/4 scale model of Triple H, and I can't unsee it now. He will forever just be like baby Triple H now to me.
I know they want to go younger, but their world champion, the credible world champion people are all on the older side, and that's what it is for right now. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens. I also can't wait for people to hit that like button to help more people see this video. Subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of more videos coming out. Thursday, I got a big video coming out that is going to cover the shortest baseball player ever. Nice little narration from me, nice little history, some great graphics in there. Be sure to check that out Thursday. If you want some exclusive access to that right now, hit up patreon.com/Real Take Sports to get exclusive early access to that and many, many more things, such as our exclusive post show. Yeah, can I be any more of a shill? Find out later on in this broadcast.
Bye.
$9.99, baby. Let's go. Speaking of which, let's get right into this, guys, because I don't want to hold back. We're already in the previewing mood. We just previewed NXT. Let's talk about the big show. And I'm not talking about Paul White. I'm talking about SummerSlam. It is a jam-packed card. 10 matches.
Shit.
One of them featuring Jinder, another one featuring a doll. God help us all. WWE SummerSlam is going to be live this Saturday from the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium. Allegiant Stadium, I believe, is the name. And it's going to feature the following matches: Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. Unhindered Jinder taking on Drew McIntyre. AJ and Amos defending their WWE Raw Tag Team titles against RK Bro. Sheamus defending his U.S. title against Damian Priest. Nikki Ash, the Raw Women's Champion, defending against Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Lashley versus Goldberg for the WWE title. God, that Raw card was miserable to read out. But luckily, we have the saving grace, which is the SmackDown card featuring Rey and Dominic Mysterio taking on the Usos for their tag team titles. Seth Rollins versus Edge, the Rated R Superstar, versus the Friday Night Messiah. It's a match I'm very much looking forward to. Roman Reigns taking on John Cena for the WWE Universal title. And again, my main event, it might not be the main event of the show, but Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, Part 2 for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Asterisk, if that happens, because we got some news about that we will get into when we cover that. But I want to do this a little differently, guys. I want to cover some of the main matches, like more in depth, and kind of just really quickly go through some of these BS matches, because there's a lot of BS matches on this card, if we're being honest. But let's start with the biggest one, because it features a doll, Possession, and Eva Marie. God hates us, doesn't he? Anyway, Alexa Bliss will be taking on Eva Marie in a one-on-one match that was announced this past week on Raw. Very quickly, guys, what do you think of this match, and who wins?
Ready to go? Good.
Go ahead.
All right. I don't think much of it, but it's a pick'em, because you can't have Alexa Bliss losing many matches with her, powers, but Eva Marie's undefeated, never lost,
because she's never wrestled.
What? What? Have you seen these matches on Raw? It's gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I have seen these matches on Raw, and that's precisely why I think she can't wrestle. Look, Trevor, I'll let you on some Kanye shit. I'm gonna let you finish in a minute, but damn, bro, this match, this gimmick, this match, everything, could not care any less than I do. It is going to be crap. I'm going to go to the bathroom, take a very long break. I might read a magazine. I might eat some chocolate. I might make a video. I don't know what I'll do, but I'm not going to be watching this pay-per-view for that match. I'm sorry. I love Alexa Bliss. I think she's one of the most talented people on the roster, with a terrible gimmick and in a terrible role against a terrible wrestler in Eva Marie. Alexa wins. Trevor, go.
I can't say it any better than you. Terrible match, terrible gimmick. Very talented wrestlers involved. I'm not sure about Eva Marie. I haven't seen her do much. But yes, very talented wrestlers involved. I'll say Alexa Bliss wins. This gimmick needs to end. This is bullshit.
We also are going to see Damian Priest taking on Sheamus for the United States title. Is this going to be Damian Priest's big moment? It was supposed to be at WrestleMania. It didn't happen. Then it was pushed to the pay-per-view WrestleMania Backlash. We thought it was going to be him going over clean, and then they somehow found a way to ruin it by involving zombies. And then it just became a mess. This whole feud with The Miz. Not many people like it. It is a waste, honestly, in my opinion, of Damian Priest's time. But he's going against Sheamus. This is probably going to be one hell of a match. But what do you guys think? Who wins this match? Trevor, go first.
Does anyone care about the United States title anymore?
Forgot it existed for. Oh, there we go. You got the fan. You have the fan. Exclusive interview with the one fan who cares.
But and not to be mean, because the United States Championship meant something back in the day. But like at this point, I feel like it's a joke. But with that said, I think you use this opportunity to push Damian Priest. So I say Damian Priest wins.
Kevin?
I think Sheamus is business. Sheamus is going to put over Priest, new U.S. champ, big pop in a full arena or stadium, I should say. Yeah, this is the perfect time for a title change here.
Yep.
If not now, when? With Damian Priest. That's my thing. If not now, when? Like, because I
WrestleMania,
just,
like you said, WrestleMania was the perfect time, but of course they weren't gonna do that.
but hey, although we got Bad Bunny, which I'm not hating on. I'm not hating on the Bunny
True.
at Mania.
True.
But they got to do it, and just God willing, they just end this endless storyline with him and the Miz, because like it's hard. It's holding him back, if we're being honest. Let's continue, guys, and talk about the Raw Tag Team titles that are going to be on the line in this match right here against RK Bros. The team of AJ Styles and Omos will be defending their titles. Kevin, what do you think of this match, and who wins and why?
I like this match. I've been thinking about this match probably the most of all the matches, because here's why. No matter what, we're going to get a Randy Orton Riddle feud. That's coming.
Yeah, of course.
So, two things. Either A, you just have Randy Orton screw over Riddle now. They feud through the fall, and that's great. Personally, I'd rather see them win the titles here, defend it a little bit through the fall, then Randy screw over Riddle. This match happens at WrestleMania. I like prolonged storytelling. So I want RK Bro to win, but either way, this ends in an Orton Riddle feud, which I'm looking for. That Riddle Sheamus match at WrestleMania was so hard hitting. I love Riddle style. I want to see more of it. I want to see it against Randy. This will be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Trevor?
I kind of agree, actually. I do like the of course, like you said, it's written on the wall. The Orton the Riddle feud is going to be there eventually. I like the idea of Randy and Riddle winning the tag team, because it's like kind of ridiculous, but I don't know. I don't know if they're willing to take it off of AJ and Omos yet. But I mean, just for the sake of argument, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say Riddle and RKO.
Well, both of you must be smoking the same stuff Matt Riddle is backstage, because there's no way they're winning. I think it's going to you don't take the titles off of AJ and Omos right now. That's just the truth. That's gospel. You don't take the titles off of them. I love the way they built up this tension between Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. Randy Orton treating Riddle as a joke, treating him as someone who is secondary to him, who's not serious, who's not a serious threat. And you know what that's going to do, boys? You know what I think that's going to do? Here's a swerve that nobody saw coming. There's going to be a Riddle-Randy Orton feud, but it's not going to be a face Riddle versus a heel Randy Orton. It's going to be Swerve City, baby. You do it with a heel Riddle and a face Randy, or not even a face Randy Orton, but you know what I'm saying. A heel Riddle, a Riddle who is sick and tired of taking crap from Randy Orton, being treated as a joke, being condescended, being RKO'd. All Riddle did was try to be Randy's friend for this entire time. And now he's finally snapped. And I think this Saturday at WWE SummerSlam, that's what they should do. Have Riddle snap on Randy Orton. Show him as a legitimate threat, not just a joke who does bro shit and like RVD promos. Have him be the Matt Riddle who just goes out there and kicks people's ass. Have him be a wrestling machine that we know he can be. That's what I would do. That being said, it doesn't change the fact that Omos and AJ, I think, retain.
I just want to say that Riddle sells T-shirts. Why turn him heel? Money. RK Bro shirts.
Hey man. I'm in it for the story. I'm a fan. All right. I'm not. I'm a fan, sir. Let me live. You know what I'm not a fan of? WWE. You talked about merch. You know what I was not a fan of? WWE waited till yesterday to release any merch for Nikki Ash. They already booked her as the Money in the Bank. They booked her to win the title, and she didn't have merch for like 3 weeks. Amazing preparation by the WWE merch team right there. Millions of dollars well spent. But Nikki Ash will be defending her Raw Women's title against Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Trevor, how many times have we seen this pairing of Charlotte and Rhea Ripley in a match?
A fucking times.
Yep. Trevor, let's start with you. What do you think of this match? Who wins? Why?
I'm sorry. And I feel I feel like this is an injustice to all the talent that's in this match, but I could fucking care less. And I honestly believe that's a shame to say when you have Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash, three amazing talents, amazingly talented wrestlers, in a match that should mean something. I could care less. I honestly think Nikki Ash retains, and I don't know why, but I think she retains. Only if you're trying to push her and trying to sell her as a legit champion. I think she wins.
Kevin?
I hate to admit it, but I don't care either. I love
but the thing is, you don't care because you've seen it 1,000 fucking times at this point.
Yeah. I love the women's roster on all three brands. This should be a good match. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be good action, flawless execution. But I just don't. The storyline sucks. The Charlotte again, which is fine. I know Charlotte. She's great. Her matches are great. Don't get me wrong. I get why she's in these title matches all the time. But the three of them have been wrestling each other kind of combinations for the last month and change. You've seen it already.
They wrestled 2 times last night on Raw, and it was 50-50 booking the entire way.
Yeah, just Nikki Ash, and then next.
Yeah. It kills me because Raw acts like they have no other talent on the women's roster.
It's a 3-hour show, and they use the same rotation of 9 people, if that, every week. I'm just like, dude, you have so much talent. Use them. But look, this match, don't need to say it anymore. All three of these women, all three of these competitors are amazing. It's just not working because the storyline sucks. And that's not saying that Charlotte and Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash can't get the crowd back. They probably will, because that's what Charlotte and Rhea Ripley did at Money in the Bank last month. And nobody was into the match. The crowd was shitting on it. And then they eventually got him into the match. But that's not going to help advance this whole storyline. That's not going to help people get over in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So I think adding any semblance of logic to this story would help, but other than that, I'm sorry, and it's a shame to say it, I don't care either. Nikki Ash wins because she's a merch selling machine. Or sorry, she would be if they had any merch. She would be. Fucking company, millions of dollars, and they can't even Let's move on. Oh my, I'm so sick of this fucking company. Lastly, he will be defending his WWE title against Goldberg. The return of Goldberg happened a few weeks ago. He said Lashley's next. There were instances where Goldberg's son, who by the way is 15 years old, that dude is bigger than me. It is kind of scary. I don't know what the hell they're feeding that kid, but please get it going my way. So they brought him in, MVP, berated him. He was later speared by Goldberg, was MVP, and we've seen a more serious Lashley in the past few weeks. But again, it's one of those things where I don't know if we can seriously say there's going to be a title change because it's Goldberg. But Kevin, what do you think about this match, the way it's been built up, and who do you think wins and why? Oh, dear.
This is for the coveted WWE Championship, the most prestigious championship in the company. Goldberg, a man who...
Oh, I thought that was your prediction for a second. I was about to go off.
Who left this company because he just doesn't get it. I mean, he gets it now. It's way too late. Lashley deserves better than this. If this was like Backlash, cool. It's SummerSlam. And I thought Lashley has had a phenomenal run as WWE champion. Although I wish the Hurt Business would have stayed together. I love factions, But
you realize anything good in WWE doesn't last long.
No, it doesn't last long at all. So I mean, this has got to be Lashley all day. I get why Goldberg's in it. You know, he's got the contract for 2 matches a year. It brings in the casual viewer. I get it.
Who? Raw is getting 1.5 million people watching per week. Who's getting brought in by this?
That's the logic anyway. You know that Goldberg does.
I'm like the New Day. Who?
But Lashley deserves better than this. But it couldn't be Drew either. You know, it's enough of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lashley all day.
That's the embodiment. Like, that is me going through the entire Raw card of this pay-per-view. Just like, just sad. We've probably lost so many viewers, by the way, going through the Raw. We should have mixed it up. Oh well, the main events are coming up. I promise you guys. Trevor, Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Why does it suck? And who wins? And why is Lashley going to dominate Goldberg?
Dude, like. Aren't we done watching Lashley almost hurt people? I mean, not Lashley, but Goldberg almost hurt people. Like, aren't we done like watching Goldberg almost drop Undertaker on his neck, and not to mention Drew McIntyre? Like, we're not done yet? Okay, we want to see him maim some more people. Okay, cool. Well, why not? But like, dude, like, the idea of Goldberg is awesome. The idea of Goldberg is awesome. Like, even when he was in WCW, the idea of him was great. But he still was not a great wrestler. The only his matches last what? Even back then, last what? Maybe 10 minutes if they last that long?
10 minutes. Like, more like 10 seconds, buddy.
Exactly. Like I said, if they last that long. Like, I mean, the longest match I remember was the match with Hulk Hogan, and that was like 6 minutes. Like, but like, it's one of those things where you're like, dude, like, how long are you going to subject us to something that even the fans don't really like anymore? Like, I mean, you're just, at this point, you're just milking money. And I mean, and the Saudi deal proved it. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Goldberg loses. If Goldberg wins, fuck WWE. I'm not watching shit. And I'm not paying for Peacock. Fuck all of you.
You heard it, WWE. You will lose business if Goldberg wins, because there are going to be many people going home from Las Vegas like angry if Goldberg wins the WWE title. I don't like. There's 2 people who want to see Goldberg in the main event. If we're being honest, guys, there's only 2 people who want to see Goldberg in the main event, and one of them is Vince McMahon. The other one is whoever the hell is making the Saudi deal with WWE, because that's the whole reason he's still got a position with WWE. It's the whole reason he's got the contract, and it should be a slam dunk that Lashley wins this. But you know what, guys? You know what just got announced just today? WWE will be returning to Saudi Arabia on October 21st. So you know what? It's not out of the realm of possibility that Goldberg actually wins this match and the title, and then goes on to perform for in a rematch in Saudi Arabia. Which I think even the odds of that happening are low. But even that being said, it's actually kind of scary how like that's still a possibility. I just hate the fact that like this is the WWE Championship on one of the biggest shows of the year. Their biggest show. They're claiming they want this to be this year's WrestleMania because there's fans. They want to have buzz around it. And for the WWE title, you book this match. You could have done this anytime. Like Kevin said, you could have done this match anytime. But you picked the biggest stage to do this. It's a waste of a match. It's a waste of this match. No prediction. I don't care. If Goldberg wins, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I'll stop watching WWE anyway. Yeah. Let's move on, guys. Get to some of the main events. The first main event that I'm going to talk about is, of course, the match between 2 former WWE champions. The one being Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. Unhindered Jinder is back. Veer and Shanky, however, are banned from ringside. What do you guys think of this match? I'm the only Jinder mark in existence, and it is totally fine with me. But Jinder Mahal will be taking on his former 3MB buddy. The whole feud could have been predicated on a lot of good things, like the fact that Jinder Mahal won the WWE title before Drew McIntyre did. That could have been the whole crux of the feud. But no, instead it was about a sword and a car. You gotta love Raw. Kevin, what do you think about this match and who wins?
Drew, next.
Oh, dear God. the disrespect to the greatest WWE champion of the modern. Look at the modern day Maharaja. Trevor, what about you, man?
I honestly think I think the fact that this match exists is disrespectful to both wrestlers. I think the fact that Drew McIntyre carried this fucking company on his back through one of the most difficult times of wrestling, or just in life general, and the fact that the modern day Maharaja is going through the bullshit he's going through. It's ridiculous. Drew McIntyre wins. I'm done.
There's so much.
Not saying that I don't like what's his name. I like him. I definitely do. But I like both wrestlers. But
there's so much they could have done with this. Like there's actual storyline, logic. But they didn't touch on any of it. That's what pisses me off. They just didn't. It was all there. You could have just been Jinder. All Jinder had to do. He didn't even have to be I have a car and I'm He didn't have to do all that stuff. All he had to do was come out.
It just happened out of nowhere. It was nothing that, like you said, it was nothing that predicated on it. It just happened out of nowhere.
And it could have been just as easy. Jinder coming out every week and saying, I won the WWE championship before you. That's all he ever had. He could have, Drew McIntyre could be oh yeah, man, but these people, they're behind me. He could have done all that, and all Jinder has to say is, I won the WWE championship before you. Great heat. It's true, and you hate it more because it's true. And then, you got Drew fighting Inner Demon. There's so much you could have done with this, but no, it's just you got to make both of them look like jokes. Both of them look like idiots. And then on the go-home show, you have Drew McIntyre basically wipe out his heaters and beat up Veer and Shanky. It makes no sense. Why should I care when I definitely know what the result's going to be now? Why?
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things. Like you said, they wasted a match. They could have definitely used 3B angle, I was better than you here, we were friends, or you could have used it was a bunch of things you could have went with, and they went with none of them and just put two big motherfuckers together and said wrestle. It makes no sense.
None whatsoever. That's why I'm not hyped.
Man, I can't wait to see this next month at Extreme Rules in a Punjabi prison match. Anyway, moving on. By the way, James, who was that? That was Kerwin Abreu in the chat. A winner is you. That's probably what's going to happen. Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus the Usos. I overlooked that match. Why Usos win? I think we're all in agreement on that. We don't need to cover that too much.
Yeah.
Usos retain. Oh, thank you, Kevin, for playing along, unlike somebody. Let's continue, guys, and talk about the real main events. The real main events. First of all, Seth Rollins versus Edge. They've been referencing the fact that Edge almost got his neck broken by Seth Rollins in 2014 with a curb stomp. They referenced that. They referenced Seth Rollins costing Edge the Universal title. I love the little bits of long-term storytelling and booking with this. What do you guys think of this match? Who wins and why? Trevor, let's start with you.
I think it's a good one. I really think it's a good one. And what's funny is I believe we talked about the potential of this match a couple weeks ago. And we both said this would be I think this would be a good match. I think their styles complement each other very well. I think their in-ring ability also complements each other. And I think they have good chemistry in the ring. I saw it when he potentially almost broke his neck, years ago. I think this is a great match. I think the one you put over is Edge, but Edge doesn't really need to be put over. So I'll say Seth Rollins.
Okay. Kevin, you're a huge Edge fan. We don't even need to go
So
over
am I.
No, Kevin is Kevin is an edge head by definition. So Kevin, I'm gonna let you take the floor for however long you want.
All right, so yes, Edge is my favorite wrestler of all time. I mean, Ric Flair, Eddie Guerrero, all that stuff. But the Edge character, the scumbag that he is,
I loved
it.
It's such a great character.
I used to get in everybody's face about it. Oh my gosh, I would call friends when he'd win matches and whatever.
How did you like the rated R superstar gimmick? I thought that was awesome. That whole gimmick it started. I love it.
I have every single rated R superstar T-shirt. I love the rated R. I used to paint the little R star thing on my soccer cleats and stuff for softball, and I still wear the wristband at softball games sometimes.
That's awesome.
Edge is definitely my favorite wrestler. That being said, Seth Rollins, fantastic. King of Drip, I love it. It's great. Great story. You can tell that Edge is involved in this because Edge, he claims to not remember everything that he's ever involved in, but he's a detail guy. Had he not been involved in this, they never would have brought up the fact that Seth tried to break his neck 7 years ago. The company forgets crap like that. So it's good that it's Edge, it's Seth. This is going to be a fantastic matchup. Similar styles. Yes, it's Edge Light versus Edge Regular. But Edge hasn't won much since he's come back. Seth could take the L here, be totally fine. Edge wins. Not because he's not here, not because he's my guy. I don't see Edge losing another match. It's unnecessary. He needs a big win here. Seth is fine, taking the L. I could go on for a long time, like Omar said about Edge. I know it's already been a long show, but Edge wins.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in there. Edge wins. Like it has to be. Trevor.
I personally love Edge. I do, but like I said, I'm a big Edge fan. I don't know. I just thought that maybe it's still through that Seth kind of needs a win too at this point. So
interesting. So you got Seth.
Yeah, I'll take Seth. I'll stick with Seth. I'll be the lone wolf in this one.
The lone wolf. All right. All right, let's just get to this because we've went very long on this, but I think we've got some good stuff. One of the main events for the WWE Universal title, the returning John Cena. You can't see him. The man who is invisible to everybody who is not in a movie theater watching like 6 of his movies that are out right now. But John Cena returned. He came over and he challenged Roman Reigns because that's what John Cena does. Finn Balor can argue that maybe he kind of stole an opportunity from him. We'll talk about that later. But Roman Reigns versus John Cena, this is a bit of a dream match. We saw this back in 2017 when Roman went over. It's a different Roman Reigns, though. Acknowledged. This is a very different John Cena who's in like more so of a kind of like a Dwayne Johnson role, a little bit of an Undertaker, a once in a while John Cena coming back, but he's looking for his 17th world title win, the quote unquote record that WWE likes to tout. But let's talk about this match, guys. Roman Reigns versus John Cena. It's a money match. It's a match that is compelling because of the elements at play. Who do you guys think wins and why? Kevin, let's start with you.
I am very much looking forward to this match. This is SummerSlam. This is SummerSlam. This is the main event anywhere in the world. This screams SummerSlam to me. So I've been thinking about this too. This one goes different ways, just like the Randy Orton Riddle match too. I love what Roman's doing. Phenomenal. I always send Omar little pictures of whenever I see the word acknowledge.
Yeah.
Little meaner stuff. You got to acknowledge the tribal chief, the head of the table. Phenomenal work right now.
It's like when you're signing up for that little Apple iTunes agreement, like I acknowledge. Yeah,
acknowledge. And then also a little picture of Roman underneath, like in approval. So I could easily see Roman winning. But then if Roman, like you listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast, then what? What's next? So who beats the head of the table if he retains? We'll get to that in a second. John Cena, he was missed. I don't care what anybody says. That guy was missed. Was he too much for too long? Sure. But good break. It's been a while. He's back. He's definitely missed. Could I see him winning? Absolutely, because Now, also, they do that thing where they like to rewrite their own history. Ric Flair is no longer there. John Cena gets that 17th, and they can tout him as the greatest of all time. And John doesn't even need to have it for that long. Okay, so let's say John Cena wins. Great. Then what? He's there, I think, another month-ish. And then, back to Hollywood. But then who beats John? I think they needed one more match on this card, and it Big E versus Baron Corbin for the briefcase.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
No, because you need to have Big E definitively have this briefcase. And Big E, man, if he cashes on Cena, huge. If he cashes in on Roman Reigns, bigger. Because, finally someone that has beaten Roman Reigns. I think, okay, the Corbin thing was hilarious because I love that whole story too. But him stealing the briefcase is the worst time. I need Big E to have it. I need Big E to cash in on either one of these winners. Big, huge, pop for Big E. He deserves it. Universal champion. And that way he beats either the legendary John Cena or the unbeatable Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Trevor, what about you?
I could definitely see Cena winning this as well because, yes, he technically in this era, 17 champions, that's a record, even though we all know Flair has won more than that. But so, yeah, I could see that. But like you said, who beats Cena after that? Because Cena has three, four movies in the pipe where he has to go out, and film. And again, and you're on the same boat, who beats Roman if Roman wins? So it's just one of those things I'm up in the air about. But I'm gonna say Cena only because they're trying to build him as the modern day quote unquote Ric Flair, even though again we all realize that's not how many championships Ric Flair has won, but still.
Yeah, so I like where Kevin kind of went. I wish they had done if they shouldn't have just taken this whole the briefcase should be with Big E. All right, this is going to be a great match. I don't need to cover it any more than it does. I'm going to pick Roman Reigns as a very definitive winner in this. I think that builds up Roman Reigns a lot more than it would a loss here. I think you haven't beat John Cena clean as a whistle in the middle of the ring, and now Roman Reigns looks unbeatable, like nobody can touch him. And then it's an even bigger deal when Big E or whoever catches in the Money in the Bank and beats Roman Reigns, and it'll be an even bigger pop, and it'll be an even bigger moment for them.
I just didn't understand the whole taking the briefcase from Big E.
It didn't need to happen. It legitimately didn't need to happen, and it pisses me off because you know what would have been a great ending to SummerSlam? Roman victorious after a scorching hot match against John Cena. The crowd's on their feet. It's insane. We think it's over, and then you hear Big E's music. He comes out. He cashes in. What a big ending! Pardon the pun. That would have been for SummerSlam.
It would have been an amazing moment.
No. Barman Corbin, he has to. My man, and his GoFundMe account, he.
I actually hate the gimmick, by the way. I really do.
I'm not fond of the gimmick. The one thing he did that he said that popped me was when Drew McIntyre asked him how much money he needs, and he said $100,000. That kind of popped me. I'm not gonna lie, right. but the gimmick of him being poor and then people shitting on him for being poor, I'm just
Right.
I will add this too, though. Just picture this, because Big E isn't the type of person who's going to attack Roman after the match, but Baron Corbin is. So
I was just thinking what you're about to say, Kevin.
Yeah. So let's say Baron still has the briefcase after SmackDown on Friday. He comes out, attacks Roman, thinks he's getting the title shot. Big E comes to knock out Baron Corbin and then cash in after because Roman's Big E is not the type that's going to beat up Roman, but Baron Corbin would. But then there he is prone on the ground. Might as well cash in here and become world champion.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. We'll see what happens there. Finally, And the reason we did this last is because there's some news. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair might not happen at SummerSlam. There's too much of information that's coming out right now. We found out last week, or this past weekend, rather, that they were pulled from live events for undisclosed reasons. We don't know whether it's personal reasons. We don't know what it might be. I haven't really seen an update on that. We'll get that to you as soon as we can. But other than that, that's put this match in kind of a state of limbo. We don't know whether or not it's going to happen, and this was built up as a huge match that many people were looking forward to. The match they had to main event WrestleMania Night 1 this past year was one of my favorite matches. I loved it. It was amazing, and it was a great moment. It was one of those moments where we genuinely felt happy to be a wrestling fan. You know what I'm saying? And I loved they were building on it. You know, Sasha Banks came up and she swerved old Bianca Belair, the innocent the innocent face who thought she was going to have a new best friend, and now, the devious boss comes in and does her thing. But, you know, let's say this match is going to happen. What do we expect to see from this match? Who wins and why? Trevor, you can go first.
You know, I actually heard the report that it might not happen as well. And I've speculated it might have something to do with COVID. I don't know. We don't know. I don't want to speculate that, but this day and age, you never know. But, you know, you would think with Sasha Banks coming back that Sasha will probably win the belt. I honestly think the way to submit Bianca Belair is the real deal, is have her beat Sasha Banks this go round. Not have her drop the belt to Sasha Banks, but have her beat Sasha not once but twice, and submit the fact that she actually might be the EST of WWE. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kevin.
I get what you're saying. I agree. I think Sasha needs the title here. Again, it just goes to the thing about heel champions, face chasing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need Bianca as champion right now. Sasha winning on SummerSlam is great for me. I mean, all the way to WrestleMania, maybe not, but Survivor Series, Bianca gets it back. Works for me. I just see, you know, I don't like when people win 2 straight matches. You know, you need a rubber match.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Sasha winning this.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah. Boys, at this Saturday night in Las Vegas, whenever this match, if it happens, when it goes into the ring, I'm going to look at my watch and say it is boss time, because Sasha Banks is going to beat Bianca Belair for the WWE SmackDown Women's World Championship, and she's going to do it being a devious heel, cheating, lying, cheating, and stealing, just like her hero, her inspiration for pro wrestling, Eddie Guerrero, and she's going to win back the title. And Kevin, I love that you said it, so I didn't have to. The chase is the best part about a face and being along with that story. We loved. I mentioned this to Trevor a few times. I said we need to have Bianca Belair in a position of weakness a little bit, because that's when you get behind them the most. When Sasha Banks cheats to win, when Bianca Belair plays by the rules and it doesn't work, and Sasha Banks cheats to win, we can hate Sasha, and then we can get behind Bianca because she's gonna do whatever it takes to win back her title, and that's what makes wrestling compelling. That's what makes people compelling, and that's why we watch what we watch. You can book it. Sasha Banks wins if this match goes on. If not, we don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll get Mella, because Mella is money. Maybe they'll put Mella in as a replacement. Oh my God. Please don't do that. Anyway, so that was SummerSlam. God damn, that was a long card.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
Kevin, I know you gotta run in a little bit.
I got some parenting to do here. I'm on vacation. I gotta run the Target and stuff.
All right. Well, we'll just let you go now. It was a pleasure having you, Kevin.
No, it was. Well, I mean, you know, thank you very much. This is fun.
Pleasure meeting you, Kevin.
Absolutely. You too, Trevor.
Yeah, we'll definitely have Kevin on. Hopefully sometime in the near future. and do some other stuff because this is a fun conversation. I liked it. We kind of fleshed this out. You know, the three man commentary team.
It's actually good to see someone that legitimately likes WWE and likes a lot of the product, but also has opinion when there's shit too. So
of course, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Oh, it's all great. It's all not. But I'm not a huge hater like everyone else is right now either. It's been my company for 20-something years.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, well, I think that's a sign. That's a sign that I think Kevin might be done.
I think so too.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you froze for like a solid like 15 seconds. We were just like, interesting.
Really? Shit.
Yeah, but no,
Damn.
but Kevin, it was wonderful having you, man. Last minute shout outs. Anything you want to plug? Go ahead.
Plug nothing. Check out my YouTube channel, Lime Green Sports Entertainment. Omar used to film my softball games for me, and then we edited them down. Actually, I was telling him I'm really proud of the setup he has here because we used to talk about the softball, like we had like a podcast or interview show kind of thing. It was
Saturday Night Lime, baby. Saturday Night Lime. It was where I got my YouTube debut, baby. Actually, while we're gonna go into a break real quick, I'm gonna find that clip. Because I have a clip on that channel where I'm interviewing someone, and I think it's hilarious.
Those are called the Limelight. Look up the Limelight. Way early on. Yeah,
I'll put that.
Find the one where you're interviewing your brother. He's an idiot.
Oh, okay. hey, no, my brother is a great person. I don't know what you're talking about, but we'll see what happens with that. I'll put that in the chat. Right. Put that in, pop that up. Kevin, again, thank you for coming.
Thank you guys. Us. It was fun.
We will be back, YouTube, in just, let's say, 3 minutes. We will be back with me and Trevor talking about the rest of the news in wrestling and talking about AEW, which I'm so excited about. We'll have that fight on Tuesday night tomorrow. We'll see you guys. Hello. Thank you for bearing with us in that amount of time. We just went over and did our SummerSlam review. Now we're going to get into everything else. Before we get to that, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's go to the chat, which I have very rudely ignored, since he said, "Brr, Adam Cole loses. WWE a week later. We wish Adam Cole well in his future endeavors." CC, LMAO, Cincy. And then we had Kevin Abreu. Kerwin in the chat says, "Yeah, one problem, Dakota Kai lost in the main event to Aaliyah." Yeah, that's true. He also said this match can top Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls. He's talking about the Adam Cole O'Reilly match. Interesting. Good. CC says, "Omar, it's a hilarious announcer." Goddamn right I am. Ego, baby.
Huge.
And now we have a string of comments from Kerwin. If this match is on a ladder, I don't know what he's referring to there. Where's Shayna Baszler or Mia Yim? God knows. If WWE cannot get Brock Lesnar against Bobby Lashley, for me, Keith Lee versus Lashley is the match. I like that.
That's a great match. That's a good match.
Yeah, assuming Keith Lee is healthy enough to wrestle, I like that.
Yep.
Excuse me. CC, I told y'all WWE will dangle something in front of your face. Take it away. Why? Because they suck. Damn straight. And Kerwin finally rounding it out. Next pay-per-view, Drew versus Jinder in a Punjabi prison match. Book it, brother. 3MB. Kerwin Abreu finally says the build for Bianca versus Sasha Banks 2 is better than the first one. Interesting. I like that. I like that. Anyway, keep the questions coming. We will get to them. We will get to those as they come. Now, Trevor, let's start going through some of the topics in some of the news in WWE this week. And let's start about this news about Triple H potentially being forced out of NXT.
Wow.
It's a big one. So, So Triple H, it was reported that Triple H was not consulted about the NXT cuts that happened just a few weeks ago. The decision was made primarily of the trio of Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and Johnny Ace, a.k.a. John Laurinaitis. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter is now reporting that Triple H's lack of involvement goes even further, saying that the NXT founder was not even aware of the members of the NXT roster being cut at all, so he had no input in it. There was no say as far as storylines go. The report also goes on to say that Triple H found out about these departures after the names had been confirmed by Vince McMahon, Pritchard, and the rest, and only after John Laurinaitis has started to make calls to some of these talents. So Triple H basically found out when we all did about these releases, and the lack of inclusion in the discussion surrounding the brand he runs further amplifies the suggestion of a, quote, toxic power struggle backstage in WWE, with certain higher-ups in the promotion reportedly fearful of their own positions should the game ever take control of the company, which many people expect them to do. So there's a lot here, Trevor, and none of it looks good as far as WWE. Sorry, the higher up at WWE's relationship with specifically Triple H and NXT. What does this show you about Triple H that he wasn't told about these cuts being made to his show?
I mean, I wish I could say it surprised me, but when Vince McMahon is your boss, it really doesn't surprise me. I mean, because at the end of the day, Vince will go behind whoever's back to do whatever. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't shock me. But it does bring up some concern. Like, is Triple H's like tenure, is the owner and the starter of NXT, like is it over, or what exactly is going on? Because since he is the founder, like, it's one of those things you're like, why was he not consulted? Like, or is this another one of those ploys where he's covering his ass too? Like, I mean, it could go either way, honestly.
It very well could. And the thing that I'm thinking when I hear this news, right, it's not that I think Triple H might, it's not that he might be forced out of WWE, because I honestly can't see him going anywhere else. There's nowhere else for Triple H to go, if we're being honest. Like, anyone who says, he won't go to AEW and be the same Triple H. He won't do any like that. He's someone who is a WWE guy. If he's not in WWE, he's not doing wrestling. And if he's not doing wrestling, I don't know what he's doing. So
Right.
I don't know if it's that serious, but I would be concerned if I was Triple H, because for a very long time there was this trust between Vince and Triple H. There was this trust that Triple H could build the Performance Center. He built that thing. He built NXT to his vision, and it was successful. I don't care whether they lost the Wednesday Night Wars. They shouldn't have been in the Wednesday Night Wars to begin with. They should, if they were smart, they wouldn't have gone head-to-head in network television against AEW. That's not something they should have done. Splitting the audience and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't work. Especially when you're going up against a brand that is hot, that features new talent that people are excited to see on national TV. So, and a lot of the blame, it's reported, goes to Triple H for losing, quote unquote, again, the Monday night or the Wednesday Night Wars, and that's why he's been kind of less consulted. And I think that's a stupid mistake to make, because Triple H created arguably outside of AEW before them, the hottest brand in professional wrestling as far as the hardcore fans, the people who actually spend money on your product. And if you're not gonna have Triple H in that conversation, it's disrespectful to him, and it's disrespectful to anyone who has been watching NXT as well, because that shows you have no respect for what's going on storyline wise or otherwise in NXT, and that the fans shouldn't care about that either.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you're absolutely right. I would, like you said, I wouldn't worry about him going out, because where is he going to go? Like, just to reiterate your point, like, where is he going to go? Like him and Shawn Michaels built this brand from the bottom up. I mean, this brand had before AEW had it, before AEW existed. This was one of those big promotions that felt like a little promotion, felt like it had indie feels, like I said earlier, and it still does to me. But like, if you take Triple H out of the equation, I don't think you have the product you have. So it goes back to a little bit of worry on my part as a fan, because like, like, why are you going behind his back, or was he really involved, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And to kind of put a bow on this from my perspective, I think that there are certain people. I'm not going to speculate who is, but we mentioned 3 specific people.
Right.
I think there are certain people amongst that group who probably want Triple H out of power, or want him because they do fear that their positions are weaker. They do fear that their positions are weaker if Triple H ever comes to power in WWE, because of the way Triple H envisions wrestling. Because you could argue that the way Triple H envisions wrestling is closer to what you and I would want. It's closer to what most hardcore wrestling fans would want. And there's a lot of people who are out of touch. There are a lot of people who see wrestling in a different light, who only know wrestling in a certain way. And that is the way of Vince McMahon, which was fine for a while, but it has played its course. And that is one thing I think the old guard has not realized about wrestling. Triple H is someone who Evolution was the perfect gimmick for him, the perfect stable, the perfect name for his stable, because that has been Triple H every step of the way. His character evolves. He evolves. His way of thinking about wrestling has evolved, and in a very positive way. So I think it's very problematic, the fact that he was not even consulted about this. And I think it goes to show you how sometimes people, they would rather show respect, or they would rather only see things from their own perspective rather than the perspective of the paying customers that exist out there.
Totally agree. Completely.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, if you guys agree, let us know in the chat. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Trevor, we're gonna talk about more WWE stuff in the Overtime show. All the other WWE stuff will push to Overtime. Right now, let's get right into AEW.
Good stuff.
And this is some amazingly great stuff. Wait a minute. That's not what we want here.
sir.
We got you, didn't we? Popped you. Just like AEW popped a huge rating for Rampage on their debut show. A lot of people were wondering what would the number be for AEW Rampage on its debut edition, and we got that result. We got that answer. AEW Rampage this past Friday night garnered 740,000 viewers, with a total of 396 viewers in the 18 to 49 demo, according to WrestleNomics. Friday Night SmackDown garnered just over 2 million viewers. And look, we were never said it was gonna compete with SmackDown. That's never the intention. But on a Friday night at 10 p.m. for a wrestling show, a 1 hour long wrestling show, to have 700,000 people watching is a huge deal, especially right off the bat. And that is why TNT is said to be very satisfied with the debut numbers. And the other aspect to factor in on this, again, is that a Friday night at 10 p.m., 1 hour long wrestling show that is essentially a secondary show, whether we like it or not, to Dynamite, it beat NXT, which airs on a Tuesday in primetime TV. It had more viewers. I don't care whether it's the first one. I don't care if they popped the rating. It had more viewers than NXT. Trevor, what does this number indicate about AEW Rampage? Are you surprised by it?
No, honestly, I'm not. I mean, because like we talked about this, and honestly, you have, and this is just my take on it. You have a company that is hungry, right? Like a company that is still established itself, still young, with great talent, great young talent, and it's hungry. It's going to do whatever it needs to do to establish itself as a real contender. The people who are new to wrestling, even the casual fans that are tired of the old Rochambeau that they're seeing with WWE, are going to gravitate toward it, because again, if you've been a wrestler as long as I have, been a wrestling fan as long as I have, like, you gravitated toward indie promotions. You've seen some of these guys on AEW in like Chikara and New Japan, ROH, IPW, all these different places, and you're like, oh, I know this guy. He wrestled over here. Oh, I know this guy. He wrestled overseas. They got this talent. Oh, wow. And it's kind of like they bring in new talent almost every week, because they debut new talent on Dark and Dark Elevation. And so you're like, okay, and the average fan will take a look and get drawn to it. So no, I'm not surprised that the Hungrier line is getting more viewers, because I mean, let's just be honest. Being on top so long, they're not hungry anymore. They're not as hungry as they used to be. AEW is hungry. They want to make themselves a big company. So no, that doesn't shock me. And honestly, when they go to Chicago, it's going to be higher.
Oh man, that we'll talk about the first dance, but it's only up from here as far as the second week goes for the first dance, because I think a lot of people expected. So here's the thing: I was very skeptical about whether AEW would do as well as some people thought. A lot of people thought, oh my God, AEW is going to do this amazing rating. Like, people thought they were going to get 1 million people on this show. And I was like, no. They were never going to pop 1 million on this show. The first dance, maybe. That's in that possibly
maybe
could, but I don't. But I always thought it was going to be. I was always very conservative with my estimate, because I was like, let's be honest, this is a Friday night at 10 p.m. Even though a lot of people are conditioned to watch wrestling on a Friday night with SmackDown, I thought there was going to be a substantial drop-off there. But 740,000 people is a very good number. I thought it would be somewhere around 700,000. The fact they got 40,000 more than I think exceeded my expectations. And the all-important demo, they did very well in the demo. They did very well. On a Friday night at 10 p.m., they got nearly 400,000 people in the key demo that advertisers take seriously, that the networks like to look at. That is a huge accomplishment. Tony Khan should be patting himself on the back. He should be patting on the back the entire roster. Kenny Omega, Christian Cage, everybody was on that show, from Britt Baker, from Red Velvet, and even Miro and Fuego del Sol. It was an amazing night, and you know what I got from it? Trevor, watching Rampage was one of the most fun times I've had watching
A lot of
wrestling.
fun. It was a lot of fun.
My dad and I haven't watched wrestling together in a while. You know, we were both busy. He's not as interested. I told him, sit down with me. We were both tired. We came back from like a wedding like that night, and I was like, Dad, let's just watch. It's like an hour-long show. Let's just watch it together. We watched it, and my dad was like loving it because it was perfect. That's one thing about AEW Rampage that I think people underestimate. The fact that it's only an hour long, some people see as a crutch. I'm like, it is great. You know why, though? Because it'll never overstay its welcome. Never will AEW Rampage overstay its welcome. It'll never have too much. It'll never have, like, okay, the show is dragging out because it's an hour long. It'll always leave you wanting more. And then that'll lead to more viewers on Dynamite. That will lead more viewers to next week on Rampage, which is what you want when you're trying to build a brand. So I think it's great.
I think that hour time slot it makes it work more in its advantage than a lot of people think. Because like you said, it's not going to disappoint you at this point. It's not trying to do more than what it's capable of. It's just providing you with an hour of big matches, and you go home happy. And also, side note, that commentating team was very interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. All right, someone needs to tell Chris Jericho to stop like screaming into the mic. That would be.
Someone needs to tell Mark Henry to not eat the mic because he's very close, very close on it.
Yeah, it's good you mentioned the commentary team because I was like, yeah, we were gonna see right who was gonna be the kind of odd man out of this group, and look, like Jericho screaming and all that kind of stuff was a little too much. I was like, calm down, Jericho, but. It's weird to me, or at least for me, the odd man out kind of that I could see, like maybe not them pushing out, I think it could be Mark Henry because I liked Mark. I like hearing his voice, but I mean, give him a few weeks. Like I'm not saying do it immediately. Give him a few weeks, maybe make a rotation or something with him and Taz because I
feel like he's not sold on what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but I think that also comes with confidence. It's his first time commentating, so I don't want to. I'm not trying to bury Mark Henry, but
not at all.
But I do think 4 people it was a lot, especially on a 1-hour show. Like it was a lot. That's the one thing.
And it was very jumbled, and I felt like information was coming out everywhere. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to this person and this person's talking, and you're like, fuck, what's going on? Like it was very jumbled.
Bring back the Golden Boy. Bring him back, Tony Khan.
What was his name?
Not Alex Jabali. That's someone totally different. I don't remember what his name was, but bring him back. But yeah, Rampage was amazing, and part of that was because we saw a big time title change in AEW Rampage this past week. Christian Cage has won the Impact Wrestling title. Let's talk about it. Christian Cage defeated Kenny Omega in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, after hitting the kill switch, aka the Unprettier, on a chair that the Young Bucks brought out that Christian was smart enough to maneuver out of a one-winged angel from. He hit Kenny Omega as the ref was distracted with the Unprettier on a chair. 1, 2, 3. Christian Cage has defeated Kenny Omega for the Impact/TNA World title. Trevor, what did you think about this, and was this the right move?
So, I went back and forth on this. I did. Now, was it cool to see Christian as the champion? Yes, because like we talked about earlier, Edgehead, I was a fan of Edge and Christian. The 5-second pose, I met Edge at a show like maybe a couple years ago, and marked the fuck out. Took a bunch of pictures with him. I love Christian, but and again, it's great to see him with the title. But it's one of those things where, so I love the way they built up the story because like it was pretty much written on the wall since he got there. But it's one of those things like you chose not to have a match with Hangman Adam Page, but you allowed Christian to win a belt. And to me, it was one of those situations where, yeah, it's good I'm not upset with it, but like to me, you have an untouched talent with Heyman Page in unsettled business with that AEW championship. And at this point, I don't think you're going to allow Kenny to drop all his belts. So,
yeah, sorry, continue.
No, you're right. I was done. Like that, but yeah, so that's the problem I had with it. Was it great to see? It was amazing to see, but I don't completely agree with it.
So I have a little bit of a different take on him because there was like a little bit of an update on Adam Page. Like apparently he had a baby. So there's a reason why he was kind of taken off TV.
So this is pretty much kind of the second. Like the
backup
strategy.
plan, kind of. Yeah. Which and look, this is a lot of people are shitting on it, but I think it's somewhat compelling because you could do this in a way where it works. Where Kenny Omega, right? Kenny Omega, I think it's good that he lost to Christian Cage here. And the way they did it specifically, because they didn't have him kick out the one-winged angel. They had him beat Kenny Omega a little bit, like a dirty finish, but you know, Kenny was the one who brought the chair in the ring, so. I liked what they did, and because I think it's going to create a more desperate Kenny Omega. Really. Because I think he's been this belt collector for so long. We've thought that the storyline, it was so logical that he's just going to be this belt collector, and then the downfall is going to start with Adam Page. But what if, Trevor, it's the other way around? What if the downfall doesn't start with Adam Page, but it ends with Adam Page. With Kenny Omega losing all of his belts, losing all of his title belts, what would that do to Kenny Omega over time? It would create a desperate Kenny Omega who only his one title that he has left, let's say he loses a AAA title down the line, the one title he has left is this prestigious AEW title, which is the most prestigious in the entire world. Forget any other company. This is all Kenny Omega has left in the world, and he downright refuses to lose it. By hook or by crook, he's going to make sure nobody beats him for this belt. And we see Kenny Omega go into that second gear. He's been a little bit of a jokey heel for a while. What if we saw Kenny Omega become a serious, like, legendary wrestling god level heel that we know he's capable of being, that we wanted to see, and all in an attempt to hold on to this title, an unbeatable Kenny Omega, until he goes one-on-one with the Hangman Adam Page.
That's a good sell. It's a damn good sell. I mean, it is. It's a damn good sell. It's one of those things where you're like, and that's kind of what I thought. Like, Christian loses again to Kenny for the AEW belt, right? That's almost, to me, inevitable. But after that, he starts, he goes on a downward spiral. He starts losing to other people, whatever have you, and then, like you said, his legacy, the belt collector, ends with one buckshot lariat by Heyman and Page. The man who they said he couldn't win. He didn't play well with others. He had a drinking problem. All this shit they've been selling about him. He finally wins the big dance and wins against Kenny Omega.
Book it, brother.
You can't write it better than that, man.
It's gonna happen eventually, whether it's at the Grand Slam show or Full Gear. It's gonna happen. But I think sometimes we focus too much. And I think this is partially a WWE problem because we've been burned so many times with WWE that we sometimes we're very critical of AEW in that sense. I think AEW's kind of earned the right for us to just be like, all right, let's see where it goes. That's the kind of attitude I'm taking. I understand the concerns, definitely, but I'm kind of like, let's just see where it goes. Like, I definitely
that we haven't even touched on.
Yep.
With him having this belt, who's he friends with? Jungle Boy. That could set something up for Jungle Boy and Christian Cage.
It's interesting. There's so many elements.
This is why
I love the wrestling multiverse. I love it.
Yeah. It's so many elements. Because I thought about it as soon as Christian won that belt. I was like, yo, this could set up something big for him and Jungle Boy.
Yeah, and look, for whatever people want to say, whatever you want to say about this or whatever, everyone is definitely more bought in, or the match with Kenny Omega and Christian Cage at All Out is way more compelling right now than it was before Friday night. I think we can all agree on that because hey, Kenny got beat, and even if we know he's probably not going to get beat at All Out. What if? Who knows? Who knows? It's definitely more compelling than it was. Let us know what you think in the chat. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Trevor, it's a big Rampage show today. Let's continue the rampaging and talk about it. Oh, Trevor. It's almost Friday night, and you know what that means.
Can't wait.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Trevor, it is CM Punk week in AEW. CM Punk is reportedly making his All Elite Wrestling debut live from Chicago, Illinois, United Center. AEW Rampage, The First Dance, August 20th on TNT. I am excited. I am giddy. This is the most excited I've been. I've been waiting for this show since before the debut of Rampage. I'm still excited. I got goosebumps. I feel like a kid ready, for the first day of school, getting to see all my friends again. It is so exciting to be a wrestling fan right now. And it is going to be great. We don't know any matches for the First Dance as of yet. However, what we do know is it's in Chicago. CM Punk is rumored to have already signed, and we also know that CM Punk has been dropping some references in a UFC at a UFC fight. He mentioned All Elite Wrestling. His commentator also did, and also on his Instagram story, CM Punk he posted on his Instagram story just 3 numbers: the numbers 05, 11, and 21. And if you guys aren't aware, 2005, 2011, both of those in Ring of Honor and WWE respectively were the Summer of Punk storylines. He had one in Ring of Honor, one in WWE. In the year 2021, I think it might be time for, a little bit late in the summer, but a Summer of Punk in All Elite Wrestling. Trevor, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for this show? How excited are you for Rampage, The First Dance?
I'm a 35. It's exciting. It's one of those things that you get excited for because, especially being a wrestling fan, like things like this, you just don't, it doesn't happen often. Like I've heard the comments. I've read the comments of people like, oh, you honestly think a big time wrestler like CM Punk is just gonna hint to his return? He's just gonna let it release like that? Dude, it wasn't released like snuck out. Big time people have said, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen. This is the rumor."
Dude, Tony Khan has been dropping these hints. We'll get into what happens if it's not Punk, but it has to be. It has to be. We'll talk about that later, but it has to be.
Yeah, but it has to. It almost has to be because at this point, well, again, we'll talk about it later, but it has to be. And this is a big time signing. And like you said, he's been dropping hits. He's been trolling people. Like they asked him about Darby Allin. He was like, "Oh yeah, Darby Allin's a great wrestler. I can understand why he calls himself the best in the world." But he says, fighting the best in the world, who's gonna be there? He's been trolling everyone. He doesn't know what's happening. First off, it's classic Punk. And secondly, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait for this.
I am literally like a kid, waiting in line for a new video game. I'm like a kid. It's just like, how can you not be excited for that? I know Kevin kind of gave a shit for the dirt sheets. It's happening. It is happening. And you know what, Trevor? You know what? As excited as I am, I'm gonna be glued in. I might don't think I'm gonna do a live stream for the show, but I think I'm gonna do a right after the show ends. I'm gonna do a recap kind of thing. You're welcome to come on if you are free. But my guy, this is going to be wrestling history. It is going to be one of those moments that we talk about for the next 20 years. Do you remember that night that Lex Luger walked out on Nitro? You remember that night that that the Nexus attacked John Cena and CM Punk? Do you remember the night where CM Punk returned to wrestling for the first time in almost a decade?
And you got to understand that CM Punk is responsible for one at this point, the biggest moments in wrestling with that pipe bomb. This is nothing short of what he's capable of.
And look, we hinted at it. Trevor, if CM Punk is not going to be at this show, if CM Punk is not going to be at the First Dance live at the United Center in Chicago, I think I speak for wrestling fans everywhere in saying unless, like, I don't even know, unless Brock Lesnar is going to come out, there will be riots in the streets of Chicago.
They will lose viewers. They will lose viewers.
They will lose viewers, and there will be riots in the streets of Chicago. I am not advocating for that. I don't think it should happen. If that does happen, if CM Punk does not show up in Chicago on Friday night and you are there, please don't riot. But it is criminally negligent, not only as wrestling promoters, but as human beings, if CM Punk is not there, because it's and especially given the hints that they've dropped, like they dropped a promo on Rampage this past week where the best in the world thing was like in Darby's promo was the main thing. Yeah. If CM Punk is not at this event, I will stop watching. I will never watch another episode of AEW ever again.
And it's a shame. It will be a shame because this is the better product, but I will never watch another one.
And this is like the 1% chance that in me that's saying that this is a possibility, because it has to happen. It has to happen. That nothing in AEW's past has told me that they're going to lie about this like this. So we'll see. But if it doesn't, oh boy, we're gonna be. Thank God there's MLW. But no, we won't.
I won't have a job anymore. But still, I mean,
we won't. We'll be fine though. We'll be fine. Anyway, Trevor, let's continue this. Anything else though on the First Dance? Anything else?
No, I think we've said enough.
We have said enough. We'll get into a lot more stuff in the overtime segment about AEW, all that stuff. First, though, let's take a. I want to take a minute. Actually, before we take a minute to do this, I want to tell all the lovely people watching here live and around the world, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. We got daily videos on a lot of different topics ranging from WWE, AEW, also sports, football, basketball. Just released a big video on basketball today. Got a video about baseball coming out Thursday, where I'm going to be talking about all of that stuff. So please be my guest and join. I'm not going to do the whole join us thing that they do, but join
you
us.
You just told them absolutely nothing.
I know I did. I know that's what I did. That's what I do. But hey pal,
listen to all this stuff.
There's all this stuff that you will not be able to keep track of. Actually, before we get to this segment, we have time. We'll squeeze this in. We'll squeeze this in. That's what she said. Oh dear. I'm gonna get caught. This is what happens when I'm having technical difficulties in the background, and I'm trying not to show people the reality of the situation, that I have no idea what I'm doing. But before we get to this week in wrestling history, as it's already been ruined by my wonderful graphic, let's talk about this, Trevor. This being, where is it? Oh my God. Do I even have it? There it is. Kenny Omega wrestled Andrade at Triple Mania this past weekend, and it was interesting. Very, very interesting. We saw at Triple Mania this weekend, Kenny Omega defended successfully his AAA Mega title against Andrade. There was not much build-up to this, not any build-up to this actually at all on AEW TV. One thing that we did see that I thought was amazing was Ric Flair. He brought Andrade to the ring. He was Andrade's valet to the ring. I thought that was pretty cool. And again, Kenny Omega went over. He did not lose his belt like many thought he would. But what did you think about this? You heard about this. What did you think about the Kenny Omega going over, Andrade losing, Ric Flair popping up in AAA?
Well, it was an amazing match. Great match. From what I read, though, what was originally supposed to happen was Andrade was supposed to win. He was supposed to go over. They didn't go into depth exactly why it happened. I think it has something to do with the route they took on Impact because they well, I'm not sorry, not Impact, Rampage. But and Kenny Omega writes a lot of his, he's in charge of a lot of his storylines and things like that. Um, but yeah, that's what happened. That doesn't take away from how good the match was, and how many surprises were in store in the match. Conan being there was awesome. Ric Flair being there was amazing. Him actually putting Kenny Omega in a figure four was. He still got it.
Ric Flair at 70 years old put fucking Conan in a figure four, and Conan sold it, man. I mean, Conan sold it pretty well.
He did. Conan sold it. He definitely did. It was a good match. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to watch, Michael. Yes, it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. The one thing I will say that I don't enjoy about AAA is look. I know they have to do it. The camera angles are a little weird. They do a little bit of the WWE stuff where they do too many camera cuts. And I thought it was interesting how they had the camera angle where they had the advertisers or whatever. I thought that was interesting, but it took away from the match a little bit from me, but not enough. Like, these two were pretty damn good at being great. These two are pretty damn good at being, amazing. Like, these are two of the best wrestlers in the entire world right now. The only thing I can say about this match that I would have liked to see, I would have 100% liked to have seen them at least not. You didn't need to build it up, right? You didn't need to build it up, but they should have mentioned it on AEW TV. And I know they both have other things to do, but they should have mentioned it, right?
I agree. I can't agree with you more, actually. I even mentioned that like maybe a few weeks ago that I thought they would start some type of storyline between him and Andrade, but I mean, it is what it is. It still was a good match, but I feel like it would have had a little more added to it if they started something on Dynamite.
I think so too. But hey, they didn't. It is what it is. But great match. If it was in the Tokyo Dome, it would have been like 8 stars. I thought this was like a solid 4-star match. If I'm being honest with you, there was a lot of compelling stuff. It was long, but they never lost me, which was good. But I liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Anyway, now that I have all my graphic stuff under control, let's get to this week in wrestling history.
One thing I wanted to get out real quick. Wrestling Spotlight will be back next week. We'll be back next week. We will have in-depth Wrestling Spotlight with, I won't say who, but it was suggested in the chat last week, and the person already knows who it was. It's going to be good. Stay tuned for next week.
Yep, stay tuned for next week. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever that episode is released, because that's what we do here. Anyway, excuse me, Trevor. Let's get to this week in wrestling history.
I'm actually excited about this one because I remember this vividly.
I'm so excited for this. This is like what I love about wrestling. This is bullshit I love about wrestling. This week in wrestling history, 28 years ago, the world was shocked at the debut, the most historic debut in wrestling history of the Shockmaster. In 1993 at Clash of Champions 24, during a Flair for the Gold segment, an interview segment hosted by Ric Flair in front of an audience at Clash of Champions, Sting and Davey Boy Smith were confronted by Psycho Sid and Harlem Heat, demanding to know the identity of their new tag team partner, who would help take on the dastardly heels of the Harlem Heat and Sid. Sting exclaimed to Sid and the rest. All I have to say is our partner is going to shock the world because he is none other than the Shockmaster.
Yes, sir.
Cue to the camera, then zooming in on the section of the set where two torches set off some very farty pyro in front of a sheetrock wall with a new costume consisting of a Star Wars trooper helmet painted and covered in glitter, bedazzled, if you will, and a pair of jeans, large black puffy vest to go along with it. We saw the Shockmaster, aka Typhoon from WWE, attempt to make a dramatic entrance by crashing through the wall. But while making this entrance, the Shockmaster tripped over a piece of lumber that was framing the set, causing him to fall forward through the wall with his helmet falling off, sliding across the floor, his face accidentally being exposed. While this is happening, the Shockmaster then, he scrambles to put the helmet back on as Sid Vicious can be heard trying to restrain his laughter, exclaiming, "Oh God." Oh, then we saw the Shockmaster put the helmet back on, get back on his feet, shifting his weight, dusting off his hands in an attempt to shrug off the gaff. While Booker T could be heard asking himself, "Who is this motherfucker?" and in my personally favorite line of this entire segment, Davey Boy Smith could be heard saying, "He fell right in his fucking ass. He fell flat in his fucking ass."
Yes.
Both of these comments were audible to the live audience and the television viewers alike. The Shockmaster then gestured towards his would-be opponent several seconds before a menacing voice provided by Ole Anderson could be heard laughing over the speaker. Started to threaten Sid Vicious and Vader. Sid Vicious remaining in character, reacted in rage to the Shockmaster, and the broadcast focused on Vicious during the voiceover. The announcer said nothing as the segment ended. In the greatest botch in the history of professional wrestling.
God.
And just amazing moment in wrestling history. This is why I wanted to review it 28 years later. It deserves to be talked about to this. Look at this shit. It
was terrible.
This was supposed to be serious. This is when wrestling's at its best. No,
he was wearing a chopped up members only jacket with a stormtrooper helmet that was spray painted and fucking
glitter.
Doc Martens.
It
No, cowboy boots. I'm sorry, cowboy boots and fucking Wrangler jeans. Are you
look at
fucking
this? Look at this. Oh my God. Only WCW in the mid-90s could deliver this gold. Yes. The Shockmaster then went on to remove his helmet later on as the storyline progressed, and he would come out dressed up as a plumber, still known as the Shockmaster. And so ends the ballad of the Shockmaster. Trevor, 28 years later, what do you think of this?
So, I haven't really revealed this on air, but just to give people a little heads up on how old I am. I was 9 when this happened, right? And I remember this vividly. Me and my brother watched WCW. I've mentioned this plenty times. He watched WCW, and we're watching this. And at this point, Sid Vicious still has never been good on a mic, ever. And so we're still listening to him fuck up simple lines and whatever. And then cue Sting with the whole he's gonna shock the world. And like me and my brother Chris are like sitting there like, okay, what is this? This is gonna be great. And then all of a sudden, this jabroni goes through the wall, and you see it as you show in the graphics before it even happens, tumbles forward on top of his big head. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, is that supposed to happen? Like, and then again, like we said before, the worst part about it was his outfit. There was no thought in this. What about it makes you the Shockmaster?
It was literally a stormtrooper's helmet.
What about this makes you the Shockmaster? There's no electricity. There's no nothing. The only thing shocking is the fact that you didn't break your fucking neck. That's the only thing shocking.
If you have not seen don't go on YouTube to watch the WWE version of it, because the best parts are cut out. Go try to find it. It might be on YouTube.
Peacock?
It's on daily. No, they blurred it out. This is on there, but they blurred out or they censored out the language.
I figured that.
Yeah. But if you go on like Daily Motion, or if you can find an unedited video on YouTube that's not from WWE, watch this moment, because the commentary of Davey Boy Smith saying he fell right in his fucking arse, and fucker T going, who is this motherfucker? Amazing. It's just like
it's the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest fucking thing ever.
Because even they know it's shit. They're just like, oh, man. And the best part is this was a backstage segment. They could have filmed this. They could have. Oh God, but never. No. If you know something is shit and you're a booker, just go through with it live.
Live.
You won't
That's
get
the best way to fuck
this.
it up.
Trevor, yes or no? Is this the greatest botch in wrestling history?
I don't think there's a botch better than this. I really don't. Like, there are some botches that you're like, oh, that's pretty fucking terrible. But I mean, you know what will go up there for me right now? The AEW Texas death match.
Yes. That was
the death match might go up there for me, but this is still one of the better ones.
Best part about that match, it was a damn good match. It was such a
good match. But the best part about it, and I will never forget this forever, is Eddie Kingston. No, diving on fucking
John Moxley's body
like it's a live grenade.
Oh my! I love wrestling. And
the funny thing is, any of you that have actually seen that have seen the death match we're talking about, the best part is after, when John Moxley starts talking shit. That's the best part.
He's like Kenny Omega's one hell of a wrestler, but he can't build a bomb for shit. Amazing line. However, still not as good as he fell in his fucking ass. Oh man, who is this motherfucker? God help us. Hey, Shockmaster, a winner is you. We love you.
Yes.
Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for the live show. If you guys want to head over on to patreon.com/Real Take Sports, we'll be on there talking about a lot of the segments that we missed on this show and talking about a lot of in-depth stuff. You can ask us questions in there. So patreon.com/Real Take Sports. Join the $5 a month or above tier for that. Trevor, any parting words?
See you next week, people. Oh, and
Friday night.
Shortly, sometime this week, to hold you guys over for the next spotlight, the Evil East segment will be released. If you guys didn't see it, so you can check that one out.
Yep, I will release the Evil East segment hopefully either tomorrow or Friday. I'll schedule it for probably Friday, because those videos tend to do better on Fridays.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep, we'll have that out. We'll have out the Eddie Goodell, the shortest baseball player ever video on Thursday. Be sure to check that out.
It's actually really good, guys. I've seen it. I've heard it. It's awesome.
It's actually really good. Fuck you and your condescending compliments, sir. It's actually.
I mean, a lot of people don't like baseball, so you know.
Well, a lot of people don't have good taste in sports.
I agree. I'm a big baseball fan, but you know,
go Nats, baby, Natitude. We just traded away our entire roster, but I'm still here. I'm still here. Anyway, Trevor, parting thoughts.
Watch some good stuff in wrestling. Watch some terrible stuff in wrestling. Have a great week. See you next time.
See you next time, and you will at least see me on Friday night, 11 p.m. Whenever that AEW Rampage show is over. You're going to see my reaction, my glowing reaction afterwards, where I'm just going to be talking just amazing stuff. Trevor might join if he's got time. He'll be there. He'll probably be there. So, yeah, there we go. You'll see the two of us back here at it again, marking out about CM Punk, hopefully. And if not, giving out about how much we hate AEW. It's only two options that are going to happen. Only two things that can happen on this show. Patreon.com/Real Take Sports. If you guys want to check out our exclusive live show right now after this show, after we go off the air, we will see you there. Patreon.com/Real Take Sports. Patreon.com/Real Take Sports. Join the $5 a month or above tier. We will see you next time.